We're just concluding the Musaf of Shabbos. This coming Shabbos is Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. And unlike any other festival, Shabbos Rosh Chodesh has its own Musaf. It's not the Rosh Chodesh Musaf with Shabbos thrown into it. It's not the Shabbos Musaf with Rosh Chodesh thrown into it. It's a whole different one. I had mentioned before, the reason is because Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh are two totally different ideas. Rosh Chodesh is l'chapara, for forgiveness, and Shabbos is for menucha. So one may ask, and what's with Yom Kippur and Shabbos? Yom Kippur is referred to as Shabbos Shabboson. The kapara of Yom Kippur is actually a Shabbos of sorts. It's a rest. It's being at peace with oneself. It's working through one's issues. It's really resolving to move in a different direction. The kapara of Yom Kippur really comes from establishing within oneself a clear understanding of where one is and where one wants to get to the point that we don't walk around with our internal contradictions. It is a rest. Mentioning Shabbos and the Yom Kippur davening is fine. They work very well together. It is Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos that is a new creature, and that needs its own musaf. It's referring to the Bria, to creation. Rosh Chodesh being kapara, Rashi and Chumash already brings Chazal. Who is the kapara for? Who needs atonement? And Rashi says it's Hashem. Why is that? Because he created the luminaries, the sun and the moon. And then he said, well, then the moon came along and said, you can't have two kings. So Hashem went and he diminished the moon. And we know today the moon is a luminary only in that it reflects the light of the sun. So Hashem says, bring a korban chatas. Bring a sacrifice of atonement, korban chatas. For what? Al shemiyati yaseyareya, because I made the moon small. Maral pretty much points out that Hashem did not commit some kind of sin that he needs atonement for. It's just this concept that the moon rightfully brought up. You cannot have two kings. That is a function of finite existence. What Rosh Chodesh symbolizes to us is the fact that Hashem created a world that is finite and therefore imperfect for the sake of our perfecting it. The atonement of Rosh Chodesh is reminding us of our ability to go and change this world, and understanding that the reason why this world is imperfect is to give us the opportunity to perfect it. So that and Shabbos are slightly different. Shabbos is the day we talk about the perfect world. Rosh Chodesh is the day we talk about the imperfect world. Atoyot Sarta, the Shmoneh Esrei, that talks about these two contradictory ideas, how they're both true. Oh yes, this world is imperfect, and yet it's perfect at the same time. It is perfect for its intended purpose. But that includes imperfection. But ultimately it's perfect and everything's fine. Are doing our job? was not because this world really needs help. It's only giving us opportunities. On Rosh Chodesh, we have this new Shemona Esrei. But what's also different is that we end that middle bracha, unlike the Shabbos, Kadeshenu mitzvosecha, Simcholkenu mesorasecha, we put in all the requests that we do on Rosh Chodesh as the beginning of the month, which is what we generally do not do on Shabbos. We generally do not mention all sorts of physical requests. It seems that Rosh Chodesh is the exception, and that really brings us back to what we started with, which is that Rosh Chodesh is focusing on the imperfection of the world, and Shabbos the perfection of it. On Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, we do daven for things to become better. We do daven. We are aware of the imperfection, and we do make mention of it. It's just keeping in mind that it is Shabbos, and that all of those imperfections are a perfect world for giving us opportunity to change them. And on Shabbos, that's by way of davening, requesting, not doing any physical work.